All right, man. Gonna be a fairly quick YouTube video here today, probably in the sub 10-minute range, which is unusual for this channel. If you like long form content about cards, sports cards, non-sports cards, CCGs, we do it all here. So consider subscribing. Let's talk about eBay Standard Envelope because this is a service that I have been using probably the last 6 years now, and it has completely revolutionized my business and the way we do business. And if it wasn't for eBay Standard Envelope, I would not be as successful as I am today. But as somebody who has sold well over 50,000 items, and the high majority of those items have gone through this system, I can confidently sit here and give you my take on eBay Standard Envelope and how it desperately needs to change. So back in 2020, 2021, and 2022, I lived at a completely different part of my state. Like, I lived hours away from where I am now. And the post office that I would drop all of my standard envelopes off to, every single time they would get it would scan into the standard envelope service. So my tracking, the moment stuff was dropped off, give it a day. Once it's processed, I have a carrier scan the next day, almost every single time. And if I didn't, the next hub that this mail always went to every single time would do an update as well. So on a bare minimum, from when I drop off a piece of mail to when it's scanned for the first time, 2 days. When I moved, and I moved the entire business, I moved everything. I didn't, leave anything. I didn't sell off anything. No, I brought the entire business with me to a much cheaper area so I could put a lot more money into the business instead of taxes and bills and real estate like all this stuff, right? I moved into an apartment, sold the place I was living at. Like, I completely went all in on this business. And this, where we're at now, we're like 2 hours from Pittsburgh, and I have no hubs near me whatsoever that actually give me a carrier scan. Some of my mail will get delivered without a single tracking update at all. It'll just say tracking information provided. That's all it'll say. And when a buyer sees that, they click on it and they're like, "Hey, you haven't shipped this yet." And it's like, "No, this has been shipped for 2 weeks." Or they'll be like, "It says you're still preparing my item for shipping." And I'm like, "No, this was shipped. If you have a tracking number from me, your item's already been dropped off. I do not hold mail here. I do not hold orders. We do anywhere from, when we're at our busiest, 100 orders a day, and when we're in a really slow period, 30 to 40. It's like, I do not hold mail. I get orders out the door as soon as possible. It's one of the things that I strive to do because of these issues with tracking, is when there is not any carrier scans, the buyer can open an item not received case, I think within 7 days of them purchasing it. So if I wait the 3 business days that I have on eBay, I will get absolutely killed because there will be a 3-day window where I cannot claim the insurance for the item going missing. And if it's delivered during that refund window where they already have their money back, I cannot claim it on insurance because it's delivered. It's not technically lost anymore. So they get the item, they get their money, you're out the item, you're out the money, and you paid the eBay fees unless you refunded them on your own without getting forced refund, and you paid the shipping. So you just lose a shitload of money. So I pretty much have to, because I don't have a post office near me that correctly scans these envelopes, I have to give 24-hour turnaround times. Literally. Like, my handling time is usually 48 hours on a maximum. And I just ran into this when we had President's Day. My orders from Friday, I didn't do them until Sunday and Monday. And now I just had to send out today, and this is what is stemming this video. I had to send $400 in refunds out today because on President's Day, we dropped off about 200 pieces of mail, and a significant amount of them were standard envelopes, probably 160 of them. And I have 30 of them missing right now. They're just nowhere to be found. There's no tracking, nothing. There's nothing. And some of the item not received cases, they have started updating, and the items are being delivered. They were shipped on February 23rd, I think it was. I think that's when President's Day was, or 24th, somewhere in there. It was the day after President's Day, on that Tuesday, that we shipped everything. We dropped it all off. And it is March 10th. and stuff is just now getting delivered. So I don't know if the post office was backed up, if there was, I don't know. I don't know what happened. But, mail should not be just sitting for 2 weeks like it seemed to have been doing. And here's what I'm getting at. eBay standard envelopes, there's two things that need to happen with this service. Number one is there needs to be something scannable. And it needs to be something scannable that the USPS, how the tracking works now, that they can integrate the same system. So from what I understand is the way this works is through with like informed delivery as well. Every single piece of mail gets scanned in, and when it is shot through that scanner, that's when the standard envelopes update. But it seems like only certain hubs have that ability to update the tracking. It's not something that the employees are actually manually typing in. From what I understand from research, there is a tracking number on these standard envelopes. It's in the top left. It's like ESUE, something along the lines of that. I might have the letters slightly mixed up. And then you have like another 9 to 10 digits, right? That is the tracking number. These employees are not entering those. And for me, when I'm dropping off anywhere from 100 to 200 orders at a time, and 160 of them are standard envelopes, my local post office can't take that volume. They can't sit there and type in 160 of those tracking numbers. What they could do is scan them. Just like when I deliver bins and bins of first class mail, they have to scan every single one of them. They have to. It's their job. If standard envelope could do something to where maybe they're not being forced to physically scan them, but if the informed delivery could scan them itself, with the improvements we're seeing to AI and scanning technology, I don't understand how we haven't made that jump. Because the amount of stealing, the amount of fraud, the amount of theft, it's blatant at this point. I mean, it is so obvious. Another thing, if you have an item that you refund for an item not received case that has a carrier scan within your business time, so 3 business days for me, let's say I ship it today on the 10th and there's a carrier scan tomorrow on the 11th, and then it disappears for 2 weeks and I refund them and then it shows up before I claim it on insurance, eBay automatically reimburses you for that. But because I don't have any carrier scans until sometimes weeks later, I do not get that benefit. So I literally, because I wouldn't get to do the, insurance claim yet, I lose the item and I lose the money. Per month, we lose probably 100, and if it's a really bad month, like $100 to $500 a month due to these refund windows that buyers do not pay you back for. You can't reverse refunds on eBay. You have to reach out to every single one of them and say, hey, pay us on PayPal. I see your item was delivered, or return the item. They don't. They know they don't have to. Legally, they are, holding stolen property. And once I do the insurance claims on other stuff that I know is being stolen, this is separate from what I was just talking about. But when a buyer says his card never arrived, when the tracking says it's out for delivery, and I refund them, and I claim it on insurance, that card now belongs to the insurance company. So it's actually better that way, because the insurance company absolutely will take action. If your name comes up 5-10 times in these insurance claims, they're going to investigate you, man. So eBay standard envelope desperately needs some kind of barcode tracking at this point. It is getting a little ridiculous. I already know eBay is paying millions and millions and millions of dollars out in insurance claims, or the insurance company is. And it is definitely going to be expensive for them. Because the amount of insurance money that I've gotten over the last 6 years, it's probably $30,000-$40,000. I would genuinely estimate in that range. And it's all money that rightfully should have went to me, and who knows how many of those buyers were lying, and that's just money that the insurance company is losing if they don't take action. So the last thing I want to wrap up on, and then we'll end this video, is since eBay owns TCG Player, TCG Player needs this service. If we never get barcodes on a minimum, we need TCG Player standard envelopes. eBay owns them. I don't know if they want to call it eBay standard envelope, but they need a tracked envelope, because the fraud and theft rate over there is, if it's 10% on eBay, it is 60% on TCG Player. 1 in 10 orders might have an issue on eBay. I would say 6 out of 10 orders have an issue on TCG Player, especially the really low dollar stuff where they know they can scam you and you're sending it untracked just with a stamp. So that's that. I don't really have much else to say about it. We need some improvements. The service has been out for 6 years now. We need to see some kind of new innovation here. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below. All things considered, it has changed my life and for the better.